Freakish, a Hulu original series, is about a group of kids who get stuck in their high school after a chemical plant in their town explodes, releasing a fog of poisonous gases to envelop the town. So, if you haven't seen this series, I'm going to talk about it with a lot of spoilers because it's kind of hard to talk about this series without spoilers. So, I'm going to count to 3 and then I'm getting right into spoilers. 1, 2, 3, spoilers. You've been warned. Okay, so this is essentially a zombie show. I don't know if I didn't see a lot of the previews or anything leading up to this show. I know I saw a few, but it didn't come off as a zombie show. It came off more as that these kids who were trapped in their school because of the chemical explosion, and then the fog mutates the people in the town into freaks. Well, they call them freaks, but they are zombies. You know, they go crazy. They eat people. If they bite you, you know, you become one of them after a while. But it's a pretty good show, actually. You know, if you're interested in zombie shows, go watch it. It has several cliches, but it also breaks a lot of the cliches, and it was enjoyable. Alright, so like I said, this is essentially a zombie show. So it has a lot of cliches in it, like I said. You know, people being bitten and they hide the bite. Or, you know, of course the kids are trapped in a building, which is, you know, something normal for a lot of zombie movies where, hey, we're trapped in here. You know, the humans are worse than the zombies. You know, the threat within is greater than the threat without. You know, another common zombie cliche. You know, people separating from the group and being attacked because they're dumb. Zombie cliche. You know, one of the survivors needing some kind of special medication or something. So the rest of the group has to get it for that person or else they're going to die. You know, another cliche from zombie movies. So there's definitely a lot of, you know, zombie movie tropes and cliches in this show, which is good, but also bad. It depends if you hate or like them. You know, there's nothing wrong with cliches. It's just what you do with those cliches will matter. And this is also a primary, or it feels like a teen show. So there's a lot of teen cliches in this show as well. Like the group of, or most of the cast is made of typical teenagers that you see in a lot of other shows. You got the jock, you got the bully, you got the student body president, you know, you got the smart kid who thinks he's better than everyone else, you know, the cheerleader. So standard tropes like that. But the thing where this show excels is that it moves away from a lot of those cliches. At least I felt it did, and which made it interesting to watch. One of the reasons they can't escape their facility or their high school, I'm sorry, is because of the chemical fog that envelops the school, you know, which is something different from zombie movies. Usually there's a herd of zombies or a ton of zombies, you know, blocking their way out, and either they're going to have to fight their way out or be stuck there and run out of supplies and die. But in this one, it's like they can't escape because of the gas. If they go out, they'll be infected. So they're trapped within the school, which I don't know why it doesn't leak into the school. Just because you close the doors and windows doesn't mean air can't get through. But that's the reason they're trapped there, which is somewhat different from other zombie movies. Like I said, it's usually zombies keeping people locked in. But in this case, it's like even if they wanted to make it an escape, they couldn't because they would be dead. And so, like I said, it breaks a lot of the cliches, especially the zombie ones and the teen ones, you know, because like I said, they have the jock, the bullies, you know, the cheerleader, whatever. But the jock is a jock, but he seems like a normal person. You know, he's not overly aggressive and everything like that. He has his own problems, and he seems like a regular kid. He just happens to be a jock, which I like about this show. A lot of the kids are like that. Like the cheerleader character who dates the jock, I didn't even realize she was a cheerleader for the longest until I've watched the show about twice now. So I didn't realize until the second time I watched it that she was a cheerleader. I thought she was just his girlfriend. I was like, oh, that's different. It's just some normal girl he's dating. You know, not the cliche cheerleader, but it turned out she was a cheerleader. But like I said, I couldn't tell because she wasn't a cliche cheerleader with the blonde hair and the, you know, Letterman jacket from her boyfriend or anything. And none of those cliches. So that's something I appreciated. Because, you know, they were actual people, not just these cliche people. Like, I'm the jock, I'm the cheerleader, you know? So that was good and interesting to see. There's a lot of, like I said, they break a lot of cliches. Instead of running out of food or the electricity power going off, the water is the first thing that they lose. So they're worried about running out of water. They're like, oh, well, we're trapped in here. So if we don't find a way to restore the water or go out, we're gonna we're gonna die with no water, which is a sucky way to die. So I like that it's different because it's not just like, oh, we're out of food. We got plenty of water, but no food. It's just like, well, we don't have any water. What do we do? Water in a lot of ways is more important than food because you can survive without food for a little bit longer, but without water, you're going to die pretty fast. So that's something I like. The zombies are also, they're more human-like in this show. I don't think they're dead. I think they're just infected. They maybe die after time. But when they're first infected, they're just infected people kind of like in 28 Days Later, where they have that rage virus. It kind of seems like that in this show, which is really interesting because you can kill the zombies normally. Like if you, stab them in the heart, they're going to die. They're not going to keep moving. If you do a lot of damage to them, they're just going to die. So you don't have to destroy the brain. You just have to kill them like a normal person, which is a really good thing. Like I said, a little different. So some of the things I didn't like about the show is like it's hard to gauge how much time passes between episodes. By the last episode, I think it's 7 days have passed, so it's just been 1 week since they've been trapped in the school, which they mostly don't leave the school. So it makes it somewhat interesting, but not interesting. But like I said, it's hard to tell how much time has passed until one of the kids is just like, oh, it's been 7 days, it's been 2 days, because they said they'll be rescued within 4 days, but rescue never comes, which you kind of find out there's a conspiracy, of course, later, keeping help from coming in. But of course, some of them get bitten, and like you can't tell if they transformed over a few hours or if it was a day. It's just, in one episode, they're bitten, and they're like, oh, I'm bitten, and the next episode, they barricade the entire school, they search the school and make sure there's no one in there, and that person's still completely fine, and then they die a little afterwards, or they transform a little bit afterwards. But it's hard to tell. It's just like it should have taken them a few days to barricade the entire school, because it looks like they drilled a bunch of boards and all kinds of stuff, so it's really fortified. But again, that should have taken them a few days, so I don't know if that was just a few hours or what the heck was going on. So that's one of the things I didn't like about the show. Not really a big thing, but it just really bugged me for whatever reason. Another thing I didn't like is they're relatively safe in this school. Like most of the time, they're just walking around by themselves in this giant school. And the only time, besides the initial big zombie attack in the beginning where they find out there are zombies, there's only a few zombies that come in and out for some reason. But it's only usually for a plot convenience, because the school is secure. Most of the time, they're just walking around, no big deal, but then they're like, oh, well, we need to get this from this side of the school. And they're like, oh no, there's a zombie there. And it's just like, you guys cleared the school and boarded up every single door or window. There's no way a zombie could have snuck in, because they're not that intelligent. So, like I said, plot convenience. That's one of the things that I didn't like. The show focuses on the drama within the group, which a lot of zombie shows do, which I kind of like. Like I said, the kids aren't too bad. They're fairly interesting. But I hated it that the zombies come, just to add some kind of plot device. Like, oh no, how are we going to get this thing? We're going to have to fight this zombie. Which, another thing about the zombies is they're really inconsistent. Sometimes they're really strong, and other times they're really weak. Like the first time they fight the zombies, they're just like, oh, or the first zombie, they're like, this thing's like super strong. It was just throwing me around and picking me up like I was nothing. But then later on, they're just able to grab some of the zombies and just toss them aside, no big deal or whatever. So I felt that was really inconsistent. It is the first season, so maybe it'll improve. Just like The Walking Dead was kind of inconsistent in that first season, how the zombies are different between the first and, the current seasons. So I'm hoping if they do get a second season, that'll happen. Another thing, like I said, this show focuses on the characters, and a lot of these characters have secrets. Like I said, spoilers, so it's there's a mystery in the show where you believe that one of these kids, or maybe two of these kids, caused the explosion at the chemical plant that sent out this toxic fog around the city. So not everyone knows it, but slowly they kind of come to find out, and it's just like, oh, well, this hacker guy was hacking into their system, but this girl, she set off a bomb near the chemical facility, so you're not sure who set off the explosion. They kind of explain it later that maybe it wasn't one of the kids, but like I said, it's the first season, so it could end up being that one of these kids is evil or works for the factory or something, or a rival factory. So that's an interesting thing inside the plot. This show also feels like it belongs at MTV. Like I said, it's kind of teen-oriented, drama between the group with zombies, thrown in the mix every once in a while. So it feels like it was recorded for MTV, and it feels like it belongs in MTV, which isn't a bad thing. It's just something that I noticed. I kept talking about or thinking about when I was watching it. All right, the last thing is the show ends on a cliffhanger. It's not the greatest cliffhanger. It's one of those cliffhangers where you're just like, oh man, I hope they get a second season, but if not, I kind of whatever. Who cares? I mean, they don't solve the plot. I mean, by the end of it, again, spoilers, they're still stuck at the school. But, if you're safe in one location, other survivors usually tend to come to your location. So one of those kind of situations happens where, these people in masks with lights or whatever approach the school, and you're not sure, like, these guys bad guys? Or are they good guys? What's going on? So the kids are kind of fighting. So that's where it kind of lifts off. Like I said, it's a good, interesting series. I recommend it, especially if you're a zombie fan. It does have a lot of cliches, but it's still interesting enough or different enough that hopefully it will provide, with some entertainment, which it is entertaining, and that's something that I like about shows. If it's not entertaining, then who cares? This could be the best film with the hugest budget freaking show in the world, but if it was boring, I wouldn't watch it. But it was entertaining enough. There's only 10 episodes, and like I said, it's on Hulu. So if you have Hulu, go watch it. Only 10 episodes. Hopefully they get a second season. Like I said, I enjoyed it. Alright, if you like this video, like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Like, what's your favorite zombie movie or zombie TV show? Alright, see you on the next one.